Oh yes, this fella is actually back. What's up everybody? Today I wanted to talk about the rise of Skywalker, and yes, this time I will not say the Skywalker or the Skywalker like I said before. A lot of people are calling me out because it does change the meaning. I mean, you're not talking about one Skywalker or Skywalkers. Perhaps Skywalker will have a different meaning or maybe not, because according to Kathleen Kennedy it means nothing. I mean, I think that woman it still doesn't know anything about Star Wars. But anyways, this video is not about that. I really wanted to talk about Palpatine. Now, after it has been a couple of days since the trailer dropped, and I have had time to actually digest the trailer. My personal opinion, I really enjoyed the trailer. I thought it was very nicely put together. I like J.J. Abrams as a director, to be honest. But that doesn't mean that I think this movie is going to fix the mess that Star Wars is right now. You know, the mess from The Last Jedi. That doesn't mean that. But there are a lot of questions raised after this trailer. For instance, Palpatine's laugh at the end. What does that mean? How are they going to bring Palpatine back without destroying Anakin Skywalker's arc, for instance? And well, it does get me a little bit worried, to be honest. But we also know that all the stuff that George Lucas created was kind of destroyed with the sequel trilogy. First and foremost, we heard that J.J. Abrams did consult with George Lucas, but that may not even mean anything, because we also know that they consulted with George Lucas before the sequel trilogy, and well, they made The Last Jedi and we know what happened after that. So it doesn't, just because they consulted with him, it still doesn't mean anything. I hope that they actually took George Lucas' advice this time, because he's the guy, he's the mind behind it, you know, and they didn't want to really get his advice. They wanted to do their own thing, and he worked for Force Awakens, but it didn't work for The Last Jedi. And now perhaps that's why they went and got advice from him. So I'm okay with that, and that makes me happy. But I'm still kind of in my head, how can Palpatine be back? The problem with Palpatine being back is this. In the original films, we know that Anakin Skywalker killed the Sith, and pretty much that was the end of his arc. The fact that he was able to defeat Palpatine, you know, once and for all in order to save his son. So if he and also, my God, the way that he falls and kind of there's an explosion there, the guy is dead. And George Lucas even said to Ian McDiarmid when he's asked him after, am I dead? Apparently they had this conversation, said, yes, you're dead. So it will be very weird if he's alive in flesh and blood. However, the way that they could bring him back that I would still accept, it would be if they mentioned the whole Darth Plagueis thing, because if you go back to the prequels, love the prequels or hate the prequels, I actually adore the prequels. I grew up with the prequels and I love them. But one of my favorite scenes in the prequel is the conversation of Palpatine and Anakin, because that's the turning point for Anakin. You know, that's the point where Palpatine is really seducing Anakin, because, you know, Anakin is so afraid of death. He wants to save Padme. And that whole conversation, have you ever heard the story of Darth Plagueis? So perhaps Palpatine did indeed learn something about keeping himself from dying, you know, because perhaps that's why he killed Darth Plagueis. If you don't know, Palpatine was Darth Plagueis' apprentice. So he was the one that killed his master because he learned that secret. So it does make sense that they would bring him back, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to accept, because the fact that Anakin defeated him, that was very pleasing. And if you bring him back in the flesh, it's kind of taking that away. And, you know, I'm sorry, but messing with Vader's story, it might not go well unless they really explain very well and use the whole Darth Plagueis situation. I might be able to, okay, I can buy that. So I'm very curious to see how you guys feel about it, because I'm a little bit nervous about this episode 9. I mean, obviously I'm going to see how it all wraps up, but do I have hopes that this is going to be amazing? Not really, mostly because I was so disappointed with how The Last Jedi turned out, for the fact that Lucasfilm did not have a clear arc and a clear story for the trilogy, you know, as a whole. And because they pretty much put George Lucas to the side and didn't even want to hear his ideas, so I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm very, very curious to see how are they going to really bring Palpatine back. But there's also a lot of things that could play in here. For instance, they could use a lot of flashbacks, which I would not be against. I think it would be so cool to see a younger Palpatine, like even younger when he was learning the dark side. That would be cool if we go back in time like that. Something more like flashbacks, I wouldn't mind at all. Like if we go back to the prequels and we see some things or even scenes that we haven't seen, I would be okay with that. But seeing him in the flash, I don't know if I'm gonna like that, because I don't want to see them messing with Vader's story. But another thing that I was thinking is the fact that the Sith is not really supposed to become a Force ghost, and that's what makes them different from the Jedi, you know, because otherwise, I mean, what's the point of you being a Jedi if both of them can come back from the dead, you know? Like, what does that even mean? But there's the whole situation, the whole, you know, where Luke Skywalker says now in these new movies that no one is really gone. So what does that even mean? That means the Sith can come back now too? I think that it would be way more rewarding if only the Jedi were able to come back, not the Sith. But there is also talk, and I think it was George Lucas' plan to play around with a Darth Force ghost, but it would be something that only an extremely powerful Sith would be able to accomplish, which is the case of Palpatine. We know he's incredibly powerful. And also they still need to wrap up what's the deal with Snoke. You know, he got killed off, and apparently he was not a Sith, but he was very evil. So does Palpatine had any connection with Snoke whatsoever? And I saw a very funny meme where J.J. Abrams was swapping Snoke's head for Palpatine, but again, Palpatine is definitely returning in some form in this film, and they really need to show us and give us a connection. What was the deal with Snoke over there? I know, what's the deal with this whole Palpatine thing? Is it going to be like a flashback? Is it going to be, I don't know. Anyways, they definitely did something. They got people talking about Star Wars again. They got some people excited about it again. I think that The Mandalorian, for instance, is looking very good. I enjoyed, like I said, the trailer, but I'm still not 100% convinced. I'm like 30% convinced that J.J. Abrams could do something, but you know what? Between you and me, we have to agree that J.J. Abrams have an impossible mission. I believe that what he has is impossible. I believe that whatever he does, it's not going to please everybody, because now you have the people that love The Last Jedi, and now you have the people that hated The Last Jedi, like me, and how can he make all of us happy? I have no idea. I think that he has a very difficult job. I still want him to do well. I still want Star Wars to be back to its glory days, but do I believe that that's gonna happen in this film? Not yet. I still need to see more trailers. I still need to hear more about it, but I don't know, guys. I just thought that the opportunity of having the original cast back on screen was such a missed opportunity. And again, this whole passing the torch is not a problem as long as you honor the original characters, but they didn't, and that was the biggest problem, and I don't know how they can fix this here on this new episode 9. But anyways, guys, the end of this video. I've talked too much. Drop your comments below and let me know, what do you think of this whole idea of Palpatine being back? Do you think that what I said here could happen? Is it going to be a younger Palpatine? Is it going to be flashback? I'd love to hear your thoughts and theory. And if you enjoy my video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Bye!